The photograph appeared in newspapers December 15th, 2022. Mayfair's exclusive Murano restaurant. A-list lunch party. Cameras caught Queen Camilla arriving. Also attending that private lunch, Jeremy Clarkson. 3 days later, Clarkson published the most complained about newspaper column in British history, about Meghan Markle. Violent imagery, explicit hatred, catastrophic scandal. The timing was devastating. Queen Camilla photographed dining with man who would become national pariah 72 hours later. The palace was furious. Not at Clarkson's column, they stayed silent on that. At the media linking Camilla to him, at the photographs, at the association. A royal friendship destroyed in 3 days. But how did we get here? How did Queen Camilla's countryside champion become the man the palace desperately wanted distance from? Start with the friendship. Because there was genuine friendship. 2022. Camilla was preparing special edition of Country Life magazine for her 75th birthday. Guest editor, personal project. She chose theme, countryside and farming, wanted to highlight agricultural challenges, celebrate rural life, and she chose Jeremy Clarkson as one of her featured countryside champions. Not random choice, deliberate selection. Camilla loved Clarkson's farm. The TV show made farming accessible, showed struggles, made people care about agriculture. She told documentary crew, Clarkson made people realize how difficult farming is. Some see farming as cows and meadow on beautiful day. They don't realize the work and difficulties behind it. High praise from future queen, recognition from royalty. Clarkson was honored. July 2022. Country Life published. Clarkson featured prominently. Camilla's personal endorsement, public association between royal and controversial TV presenter. Nobody questioned it then. Clarkson was farming advocate. Camilla supported agriculture. Made sense. But that public association would become problem. Major problem. 5 months later. Because December 2022 brought Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary. 6 episodes. Detailed account of royal life. Media harassment, racist coverage, decision to leave Britain. The documentary was polarizing. Supporters saw brave truth-telling, critics saw calculated attacks on royal family. Jeremy Clarkson fell firmly in critic camp, very firmly. December 8th, documentary episodes released. Clarkson watched them, became increasingly angry. Not at media criticism, he defended press freedom for decades. At what he saw as Meghan's portrayal of herself as victim while attacking institution he revered. December 14th, the lunch at Murano, large party, former Fortnum & Mason CEO Ewan Venters hosting, your friend of Camilla's. Guest list was A-list, Dame Judi Dench, Dame Maggie Smith, Claudia Winkleman, Piers Morgan, and Jeremy Clarkson. Camilla attended as guest, not hosting, but her presence made it notable. Royal at private gathering with media personalities. The lunch was pleasant, social, no indication of coming storm. Clarkson and Camilla likely discussed farming. His show, there's rural issues, topics they bonded over. Nobody there knew that 72 hours later, Clarkson would publish column that would make that lunch photograph toxic. December 17th, Saturday, the Sun newspaper published Clarkson's column. Title referenced Meghan and Prince Harry's documentary. Content was shocking. Clarkson wrote he hated Meghan Markle, not casual dislike, hatred on cellular level, described lying awake grinding teeth thinking about her. Then came the passage that detonated. He dreamed of Meghan being paraded naked through streets of every town in Britain while crowds chant shame and throw lumps of excrement at her. Reference to Game of Thrones scene, but applied to real person, that member of royal family, woman who discussed receiving death threats. The column was published Saturday morning. By afternoon, social media was exploding. Not criticism, outrage, genuine shock at violent imagery directed at Duchess of Sussex. By evening, formal complaints flooding in. Independent Press Standards Organization receiving hundreds, then thousands. By Sunday, over 6,000 complaints. Unprecedented. More than Ipsos received an entire previous year. By Monday, over 17,500 complaints, record-breaking, most complained about article in British press history, and those photographs from December 14th lunch, suddenly everywhere. Queen Camilla dined with Jeremy Clarkson 3 days before he published hateful Meghan column. The timing looked terrible. Palace immediately went into damage control mode. Not about Clarkson's column itself. Palace stayed silent on that. Royal family doesn't comment on media controversies about its members, but the association with Camilla, that needed addressing. Palace sources briefed media. Queen Camilla didn't host that lunch. She was guest at large party. Many attendees, she didn't know what Clarkson would write 3 days later. All true. But optics were devastating because Camilla had made herself advocate against violence toward women. Major campaign issue? Global pandemic of violence against women. Her words at recent Palace event. Now, photographed, dining with man, who wrote violent fantasies about women being publicly humiliated and pelted with excrement. The contradiction was painful and very public. December 19th, more Palace briefings, this time with edge of anger. Sources told media Palace was furious about coverage linking Camilla to Clarkson, upset she was being dragged into controversy. The message was clear. Stop associating Queen Camilla with Jeremy Clarkson's column. But damage was done. Association made. Photographs existed. Timing was damning. December 20th. 60 MPs wrote letter to the Sun demanding action against Clarkson. Conservative MP Caroline Noakes, chair of Women and Equalities Committee, a led effort called Column Hateful and Contributing to Climate of Hatred and Violence. Letter referenced Camilla's anti-violence work, implicit criticism of her dining with Clarkson. Clarkson issued half apology on Twitter. Oh dear, I'd rather put my foot in it. Made clumsy reference to Game of Thrones scene. Gone down badly. Horrified to have caused hurt. Not real apology, not retraction, just regret it caused hurt. December 21st, Prince Harry gave interview, called Clarkson's column horrific and hurtful and cruel, asked if he was surprised. No. Is it shocking? Yes, thank you for proving our point. Palace still officially silent, but privately, deeply uncomfortable. Because Clarkson wasn't random columnist, he was Camilla's countryside champion, featured in her magazine, praised by her publicly. That association now looked like endorsement, or at minimum, poor judgment. December 22nd, more revelations about the lunch, full guest list leaked, alongside Clarkson and Camilla, Piers Morgan, another vocal Meghan critic. Social media erupted, Queen Camilla dining with two of Meghan's biggest critics 3 days before Clarkson's column. Not good look. Palace sources pushed back. She didn't arrange guest lists, didn't know everyone attending, wasn't aware of their views on Meghan. Again, likely true, but explanations sounded defensive. January 2023. Clarkson published longer apology, more sincere. Acknowledged column was wrong and he was mortified, but damage to relationship with Palace was permanent. June 2023. PSO ruling came. Found Clarkson's column breached standards on accuracy, harassment, and discrimination. Specifically found references to Meghan were discriminatory on grounds of sex. Frame Meghan's position as specifically female negative role model. Ruling highlighted passage about vivid bedroom promises and comparison to sexually manipulative woman from Game of Thrones. Concluded. Read as whole amounted to breach of discrimination clause. The Sun forced to publish correction on front page. Rare sanction. And Palace, quietly pleased. Vindication without having to say anything. But what about Camilla and Clarkson's friendship? Gone. Completely. No more public association. No more countryside champion designation. No more friendly interactions. Palace made clear, distance required, association toxic. 2024. Clarkson's farm continued. Huge success. Millions of viewers. Advocacy for farming. But no royal endorsement anymore. No Camilla praise. That bridge burned. Camilla continued anti-violence advocacy. Speeches, campaigns, important work. Never mentioned Clarkson, never referenced the lunch, moved on completely. The friendship that had been public and warm became non-existent. What killed it? Timing. Those 3 days between lunch and column. If column published a week earlier or later, association might not have been made so directly. If Camilla hadn't been photographed arriving at that specific lunch, connection might have been weaker. If Clarkson's column had been less extreme, controversy might have been manageable, but all those factors aligned perfectly to create maximum damage. Today, the relationship remains dead. Clarkson Farms. Camilla reigns as queen, no interaction. The countryside champion who became untouchable. The queen who learned about guilt by association. 3 days between photograph and catastrophe. One lunch that became liability. The cameras turned to Murano Restaurant, where innocent lunch became royal scandal. The cameras turned to Buckingham Palace, where association with Clarkson became thing to bury. Queen Camilla and Jeremy Clarkson, once allies in agricultural advocacy, now permanently separated by one catastrophic column. The lunch neither probably thought twice about. The photograph that came to haunt them both. 3 days, one column, friendship destroyed. Because in royal world, associations matter. Timing matters. Optics matter. And Camilla learned harsh lesson, choose your countryside champions carefully. Clarkson learned different lesson. Royal friendships are conditional. Step too far, they vanish. The lunch that ended everything. December 14th, 2022. They dined together, discussed farming, shared pleasant afternoon. 72 hours later, Clarkson's column made that lunch photograph into scandal. The palace spent months trying to create distance. Explaining Camilla didn't host, didn't choose guests, didn't know what was coming. All true. None of it mattered. Photograph existed, association made. The Queen's countryside champion became the man she couldn't be seen with. From country life feature to complete separation. One column. 3 days. Welcome to consequence of bad timing and worse judgment. Camilla chose Clarkson as champion because he made farming accessible. Clarkson destroyed that relationship because he made hatred explicit. The lunch nobody thought would matter. The photograph that defined everything. December 14th, 2022. Last time Queen Camilla and Jeremy Clarkson were friendly. December 17th, 2022. Day everything changed. 3 days, one decision, permanent damage, the royal scandal nobody predicted, the friendship nobody could save. That's how you lose Queen's favor. Not through planned betrayal, through spectacular misjudgment and catastrophic timing. Clarkson's column was his choice. Camilla's lunch was coincidence. But in royal world, coincidence and timing can be more damaging than intent. The countryside champion who fell. The queen who had to distance. The lunch that became scandal. 3 days that changed everything, and neither Camilla nor Clarkson will ever publicly discuss it. Royal discretion. Public silence. Private regret. The photograph from December 14th, 2022. Last record of friendship that would be dead within 72 hours.